This is my most favorite episode of Let's Talk About It ever because I've got one of my dear friends, Clint Brakebill, in here. You know Clint Brakebill. He's been sports director here for how long now?
Since August of 2014.
Wow.
Got in right before football season of 14, yeah.
It's almost 12 years?
Almost 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody that works with both Clint and I know that we can talk about anything forever. And so I'm going to try to do this interview in about 30 minutes. I've got no promises. I want to start out kind of really with the biggest news. I'm just going to rip off the Band-Aid. You're leaving us.
Yeah. Career change for the first time really in my life. I mean, I've had, some small jobs in college and stuff, but career-wise, this is all I've ever known. Started working with Jacob Albrecht as an intern in 2011. So I've been covering the Texas Panhandle sports since 2011. That's all I've ever known because I went straight from that to being a photog, from that to being a weekend sports reporter in Wichita Falls, and then came back here sports director 2014. So it's really been my only job ever. So career change is weird.
And really for you, it was a dream job back then, right?
It was.
Here's a Portales kid growing up, played sports. He goes to WT, gets involved in the broadcasting department. You get the internship, and you end up, I think that's all us, like, as a former sports guy, that's all you wanted to do is
absolutely
get paid to talk about sports.
Mm-hmm.
So how hard of a decision was that to make? Because really jumping off a boat and going in a different direction, that's a hard thing to do. And when I got the call from you, I remember, after the sadness kind of went over because we're such good buddies, but I was also super happy for you. It's just hard to do. So what was it that finally where you were like, I got to make this. Now's a good time to make a career switch.
Having kids is the biggest thing, especially ones that I think will be involved in sports, and that's kind of what my whole life was. And I know that I'm going to want to be involved in that.
Yeah.
And if this was an 8-to-5 job, then but it just doesn't work like that, especially in sports, because all of our sporting events, at least on the news side, if I was just doing news anchoring, and that's not necessarily where my passion lived. My passion lives with sports.
Yeah.
Your games start at 6 and 7:30, and on Friday nights they start at 7, and then on Saturdays, one of the most things that I love most about this, I don't know that I could give up covering college football on Saturdays if I'm going to do it. Yeah. So covering Texas Tech and WT on Saturdays, and then you already know my hobby is watching the NFL, so my Sundays are committed to that. So the schedule of it just is hard with 3 boys that I think will be involved in baseball, basketball, football, and wanting to be more involved with that at nights and on weekends, and those are the most busy times that you have in sports.
It's a decision that comes for all of us who have done sports at any point in time, is that career switch where we've got to think, okay, and I had the same decision that I had to make way back when, back in 2002 or 2003 when I was getting ready to get married, and I made the switch out of, I think it was 2002, 2003, making the switch out of sports and going to news because that schedule is so difficult. And it's not an 8-to-5 job. It's not even an 8-hour-a-day job. There's so many times. How many, on football Fridays, how many hours would you put in?
Especially since we were doing, more stuff with social media and stuff now, too, staying after the locker room is over, not getting out of here till 1, so you get here a little before 3, and then get out of the building at 1 and home a little later than that. And then again, that kind of steals some of your Saturday mornings with. It's just with that many kids at home and not even in school yet, 3 that haven't even started school. It's a tough schedule. It's a lot to put on my wife as well.
Well, and again, because you have 3 kids all under the age of 5.
I do, yeah. With a brand new baby at home. So
what are the ages of the
Bennett
boys?
Is 4, my oldest, and then I have an year-and-a-half-old Banks, and then a 2-month-old Bridger. Mm-hmm.
Man. So Clint calls me. This has been a long, I think I wasn't the first to know, but it was pretty early on. You called and said, And after this kind of sad moment, because I'm losing my, my buddy that we just spent so much time at work together, I was so excited for you because I know even though we're losing a phenomenal sports director and a phenomenal just member of the team and a great friend, I'm really excited for you.
Yeah, and I'll be going closer to Kennedy's family, which is fun too. I'll be still working in communications, so I'm gonna be taking a lot of what I've learned from this job to a school district near the Metroplex, and when we get closer to start date, I'll talk more about specifically on where we're getting there. I want to make sure that everything's good on their end and all that kind of stuff. But be going to a school district director of communications there, and we'll still get to like I said, one of the biggest things we do is social media, right? Like now, especially now, I mean, look at what we're doing right now. We're putting a lot of this stuff online and on social media, and that's one of the biggest things that I'll go in and do is build up their social media for that school district and work on their website, and then I'll also the liaison stuff that comes with it as well.
What will you miss most when you pack up your bags in late March and head out of town?
A lot about my job. I mean, my job I love. The hours and the pay, aren't always the greatest, but it's still my passion. It's still what I love. I could do it. Lee Baker did it for a long time because he loved it. I could have done this, if it wasn't for kids and having to do what I think is best for them right now. This is a job I could do forever. I love going to live sporting events. I love being at state tournaments. I love just being on air. It's fun. Yeah. I mean, we come into the studio and we ham it up. We talk. We have a good time. It's not like we're not breaking our backs. It is in that regard a pretty easy job. It can be stressful at times, but there's not much I'm going to be excited about leaving the job for. I love my job.
Yeah.
That hasn't left me, and who knows, maybe that comes back around one of these days because I do like it.
And you're very good at it. I will say this: most people who leave the industry don't come back in.
I know.
And there's a reason why, because you realize, oh, I've worked a crazy schedule my entire life, and all of a sudden it settles down. I mean, I could name so many of our friends that have done this business and they've gotten out. But I'm excited for the boys. I'm excited. I know this is a big deal for Kennedy, so I'm excited for that. Okay, what's your most favorite story that you covered while you were sports director of KAMR Local 4? What's some of the stories that jump out? I know it may be hard for you to pinpoint one, but give me a...
Yeah, I think one of the things that jumps off immediately is just Jalen Conyers. I got to know him real well, and I think that one was cool because I was young when he was young. I mean, a lot younger than me, but when he was young at West Texas High, and seeing this guy before anybody in the nation knew who he was. Everybody in our little area knew who he was, but seeing him, grow through West Texas High and as a basketball player there, and then transferring to Groover, and then going to Arizona State, and me and my brother-in-law went down there and watched him play, and I got to cover him at Arizona State, and then having him come to Texas Tech, and then seeing his career progress from there, and then being at his NFL draft party. I think that kind of shows you what this job allows you to do, build relationships with people like Jalen, and then seeing now he's in the NFL. I mean, he got hurt as a rookie, and hopefully has his opportunities as a second-year player. But I think that's really one of the first ones that jumps off to me is building those relationships with athletes, and then seeing Jalen from a freshman at West Texas High to going to the NFL. That's pretty wild.
Another hard question. In terms of talent, what do you think was the best team locally you ever covered?
The first one that comes to mind is and they didn't even win the state title. There's several that I can think of. Well, those early Canadian teams were so good, but that 2018 Tascosa Rebel football team, that run they made and the way the community, you just saw it because we don't see 4A and 5A teams. Cause people still talk about that 2000 Hereford team. That got to actually play in the state title game. Like they talk about it 25 years later. Yeah. And I think that's the way we'll kind of remember that King Doru, Joseph Plunk, Tascosa Rebel team that took on Longview. And at the time, they weren't even 5A. They were 6A. Yep. So to see them make that run in 2018, that's one of the most memorable that didn't even win the state championship. But, I mean, you and I talk about that team like it was, just happened a couple of years ago, and now we're talking about almost being a decade ago that Tascosa made that run.
Yeah, the older you get, time fly. The time space continuum gets off
Oh, yes,
just a little bit.
absolutely.
Yeah, that was a good team. And again, we've had Canadian. I mean, I think Stratford. I think of all of those teams that had incredible
Those
runs.
Canyon girls basketball teams,
Oh yeah,
covering Angel Hayden, who won 4 straight state titles, and seeing her grow as a player and a person, and her relationship with some of the kiddos there in Canyon was pretty cool as well. I mean, so many memorable things, but state football will always be up there. That's so much fun to go to Jerry's World and cover those. But then San Antonio's been fun, and one of the first state championships I ever covered was 2013 Emerald High boys basketball, and that was when it was one of the last years in Austin, and that was cool. That was a cool opportunity I had to actually cover it there, because that's what a lot of people grew up with, was state basketball in Austin. And that was one of the final years that was there. Now, again, they didn't win the state title, but that was still a lot of fun to follow that team.
I used to go down. I wasn't even a sports guy at the time. I was just a student at WT. In our spring break, we would go down for the state basketball tournament.
No.
Jack McCauley would take us down there. He's my boys ranch dad, and he would take us down, and we just loved that. There was something about being in the drum and watching some of the best of the best. So yeah, I've got same.
It's funny, the ones that are coming out to me are the ones that fell short, and I think it's because you build relationships with them, and then you see them get crushed a little bit, and you I don't know.
There is this empathy, right?
Yes, Randall baseball from maybe 3 years ago. I can't remember, had 2 or 3 years now. That team was a lot of fun. We haven't had a state champion in baseball since I've been here. We haven't had one since the 70s from the Texas Panhandle. I just knew that was going to be the team. That's probably the best baseball team that I've covered.
That's good. What was it? Let's talk about kind of growing up in Portales, and kind of how that helped shape you. And I know how much you love that area, and you talk about it, and I know that you would go home and see family in that Portales Clovis area.
Yeah, growing up in a sports world for sure, and my mom being one that was very supportive with all of our athletics. But I mean, sports and rodeo, that was my dad's life, and that we have home videos. Dad recently passed, and we were going through a bunch of home videos, and there's this one that's kind of funny, and you can see the dates on them. So I'm not 6 yet, and we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys making a trade. Me and my dad are sitting there talking about that X, Y, and Z. I can't remember who we were talking about. Just got traded, and I'm 5 years old. So this is something that I've was certainly born into, and my dad pushed us in athletics, and he was always our coach, and so he instilled that in us from an early age. But I also just fell in love with it from watching, Joe Buck, and those guys were some of my first loves, and that I loved watching. 2001 World Series is one that I always talk about, that calling some of those big moments and just those sticking with me is a big reason why I wanted to do this.
And you bucked a trend, really, because Portales, you figure Eastern New Mexico is right across the street. You kind of bucked a trend there, and you went to WT. We've talked extensively about needing to get out of where you are and kind of get into a new environment. And you went to WT and graduated. And just you've been your trajectory reminds me a lot of mine coming up, and I think I'm most proud of seeing the man that you've become, because I think when you got hired, you were so young, and just to see you mature through all of that and all the the stuff that you go through, and growing up and figuring out life and getting married and having kiddos, and you're
WT was fun. Dr. Browning and Randy Ray were. It was funny, they were so different to me, but they were also so big in building confidence. Randy Ray would say, you can be really good at this, you're going to have to work a lot harder. He would tough love, where Dr. Browning always said that she thought the sky was the limit on what I could do. And then, they were so great, both of them. Yeah.
Dr. Browning, sweet bunny. I'm sad that I didn't ever get to experience Randy Ray. I mean, I know him, I consider him a friend, but I would have liked to have him in the classroom a little bit. But Bunny was especially awesome. How hard is it going to be on that final day? And we don't even know when that day is yet. I know we'll talk about this. This, by the way, everybody at home, this is pretty fresh. I think everybody at the station just found out. And just a couple of days ago, but I wanted to get you in and talk through this and then kind of post it later. How hard is that going to be, that final day?
Oh, it's been hard. It's hard talking about it. I'm emotional because, again, I love it.
Yeah.
And I've done it for so long. And I wasn't actively looking. Like,
Yeah.
It was someone that I knew that reached out to me and asked me if, and after he laid everything out on the table, I still didn't think I was leaving. And then the more I thought about it, the more I talked to people about it, it was just the right decision. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be, the sports department is mine. It feels like,
What is you've been here, what do we say?
Almost 12 years,
12
in that
years?
same office, in the same spot. Like,
Yeah.
and it felt like, and I've dedicated a lot. Like, I never wanted it to slide, never thought about leaving. It was just something that has always been a passion of mine. I love this place, and I want it to, I think that I'm leaving it in a really good spot, and I hope that it continues to be that way. And I think we've got people that can do that.
You're leaving it in a good spot. You've been a great mentor to the people that have come into that sports office. And then I know you took on kind of the news role with Fox 14 a while back, and I know Maya Clark, your co-anchor there, is gonna miss you. I've already told you how much I'm gonna miss you. I mean, our friendship is just, I think we'll be friends till the day I die. There's no doubt about that, and I know that we're gonna stay in touch. But it's one of the things, like when you told me that I took for granted, because we get to see each other every day. And so it's like working with one of your best friends, where you always get to talk sports. You always get to just kind of hang around, and regardless of what's going on. And so, true story, I want you to say this. When you walk into the newsroom and I'm sitting over there, what do you always say? What it do?
What it do, baby?
And it doesn't matter what kind of day I'm having. If Clint walks in and gives me that shout out,
Andrew, baby.
Yeah. I think I'll miss that, because even in news, you have hard days, right? You have the content just is hard and heavy, and so to have you walk down every once in a while and do what a do, baby, or you'd say we talk fantasy football all the time. I mean, I'm sure, and Cheryl sits right next to me. I'm sure that she has had any of the producers or co-anchors that I've worked with over the last 12 years. People have asked me if I'm going to be okay. When they found out you were leaving, they're like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I'm like, "I haven't lost someone. He's just going to a different thing, but it won't." It definitely won't be the same.
We definitely talk sports all the time together. That is one of the more fun parts of the job. That's what I'm talking about, commercial breaks and just being down there. And
would you rather game? Would you rather have that week?
That July, August before we get into drafts is probably our most fun, before the actual NFL draft,
easy,
and then before the fantasy football drafts. Those are
people really don't understand how much we geek out about the National Football League in terms of the conversations that we can have about that. Man, we can go for a very long time. I want to bring it back to your family life in just a little bit. I want to talk about how Kennedy handled that, because Kennedy has a phenomenal career here. She's a pharmacist. She, what was it like saying, "Hey, I got this opportunity"? I'm curious. Take me into that conversation a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Her parents are in Nocona, which is about an hour and a half from where we have this job opportunity. Her oldest brother is in Weatherford. They live in Aledo, right outside of Aledo, and works in Weatherford, which is about a 2-hour drive. Her youngest brother is the head basketball coach for the boys basketball team in Glen Rose, which is about 2 hours away. So for her, and then her best friend lives in Salina, which is about 15 minutes away. And then her other childhood best friend is possibly going to be living in McKinney, which is about 10 minutes away. So for her, and she's been out here, and she knows that I love my job, and we're here, and we weren't going to be moving. She spent 10 years now with me here in West Texas with my family. My mom and dad and stepdad are in Portales. My nephews, which are cousin age, are all here in Amarillo. So she's got a lot of, and my brothers are in Portales. So she's got a lot of Brakebill time. So I think it's cool for her to finally be close to her family, and we have a lot of her family in
Yeah.
that area. So she's excited, very excited from the very beginning.
She put in her time.
She put in her time here in Amarillo, which she loved it. I mean, and that's the other. We love Amarillo. We love our house. We love our area. I love that I'm right next to we love so
gym.
much
Yeah.
about, right next to the gym, right next to you. I go into United almost every single day. That, I love where we are. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with Amarillo. It has nothing to do with my job. I could do it forever. It's just, I think I'm putting my kids first, and being able to be with them at nights, and making a little bit more money doesn't hurt either, to help set up their futures,
Yeah.
and those kind of things, and being closer to hers. Her parents will be able to come over. They're not retired, but semi-retired, being able to come over and help with kids and all of those things. I mean, it just I think the move now makes sense.
So you're saying she was pretty excited from the get-go, where you're like, hey, because you get this phone call out of the blue, and you're like, was she like automatically like, yes?
Yes, I think so. I think it was automatic. And again, she's been at her job. She's been at Northwest Texas Hospital for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so that move for her, it was going to be tough. And luckily she's going to be able to stay with those guys and continue her relationship with Northwest Texas Hospital, which is just unbelievably fantastic in my opinion, and her opinion. And they've been so good to her over there that I love that worked out for her too.
There was this moment where Clint calls me, and it may have been a Sunday. I think it was I wasn't at work that day. And you tell me this, and I can't say anything to anyone.
Yeah.
But then you were like, also, hey, as my realtor.
Yeah.
So we had the talk of,
Yes.
hey, as super close friends of, hey, man, this really stinks, but I'm going to take this job. And
Yeah, that I said
And then
something
you're
like, all right, now that that's
Now
out
that
of the
we've done
way,
that.
let's talk business a little bit, because you're also going to be selling my house, which you did a great job of finding.
24, it was pretty quick. It was
But yeah,
24,
felt like we
48
were
hours.
yeah, and then all of a sudden somebody wants it, because it's a fantastic house. We happened to get in it at the right time. It's been wonderful to us. I'm just going to be emotional about so many things. I brought all three of my boys home to that house.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough to leave that house too.
Well, I think back even to the first house that we helped you with.
On
that was
Milam, yeah.
On Milam Street, and then moving you over to your current house. And again, it was a good house. Chris Farrell builds a good home.
Yes, and he was,
Personally, I want to tell you what was really exciting for me is Michelle and I went out on our own and created our own real estate company, Justice League Realty. Your home was the very first home that we got to sell.
Yeah, that's cool.
Under the new brand. I mean, it was so quick that we didn't even have a sign up. But which, by the way, I did get a sign. I'm going to bring a sign up, or should we not put that up yet? Let everybody in the neighborhood know you're leaving.
No, yeah, you're good. But put it in there.
Man, so in this new thing, I want to tell you, Clint, this is just kind of a little motivational for you. You're going to be great at it because you're great at whatever you do. You've become a phenomenal dad and husband, and you're just an incredible coworker. And the people, wherever you end up, they're going to be really lucky to have you.
Yeah, and I'm
For sure.
just putting a lot of trust in in my new boss down there. I think it took somebody that like him to I don't know, make me feel good about it. And I think it's the right person, right time, right place.
And plus, you and I, because of our faith and our love for Christ and our belief that all things work together for good for those who love the Lord. I know that you're going to be covered in that as you kind of move into that next thing, and that kind of takes a little bit of the worry away. But I think you're making. I mean, it's a hard decision, but I think you're making the right one for your family, and that's saying something for somebody who's going to, going to miss you every day coming into work. It'll be different.
Yep.
It'll be different. What would you want to say to the people of the High Plains? I mean, this is kind of your chance. I know you're going to post some stuff on Facebook, but you're just kind of farewell. What would you want to say to the people of the High Plains who you've covered for so long and the opportunity to go in?
Yeah, first the support. I mean, I think everybody's been so great. Living here is awesome because of the people. We have a lot of wind. We have, our weather's not the best. There's not as much to do, some of those things. But what makes it so great is the people.
Yeah.
And anytime my brother-in-law and sister come out from Fresno, they're like, we just love the people here. We love going to the grocery store and the convenience stores, and I was like, man, going to a small town, it's like that even elevated, right? When you go into Groover, you go into Stinnett, and those people care about you, and you know that if your car breaks down, there's going to be somebody immediately, and that's something that I think you sacrifice a little bit in bigger cities. Is you don't have things move at a faster pace. I love the pace of Amarillo and the way the people have treated me, and just being able to tell their stories. But man, it just know I didn't take it for granted, and I think for anybody that lives here, my message would be just don't take it for granted. This is a great place to be, a great place to raise your family, and it's been so much fun to see the way West Texas small communities rally around each other. We've seen tragedies, we've seen the highest of highs at state title games and those kind of things, and the community's there for both of those. And I love that about West Texas and Eastern New Mexico too.
Well, Clint, best of luck in your new thing. I want you guys to go over and check out his social media page at some point. He's going to have a little bit more detail about what he's doing. And, and have you figured out your time frame date wise when you're signing off for the last time?
Signing off mid-March, I believe March 13th. Unless we have a boys basketball team at the state tournament, then that runs through that weekend. But right now, March 13th would be my final day.
And then we're going to be packing you up.
Yeah, and I'll try not to be the guy that cries on his farewell.
Oh, we'll see what we can do about that. Thank you for...
It's funny. I think I cried about twice in my life before I had kids, and now anything can make me cry. It's unbelievable.
Dude, what happens to us?
I have no idea.
I can read a book. Again, I'm with you. I had a hard childhood. Not a whole lot hits me where it gets me. But you have some kids, and all of a sudden you're just like, man, I have the feels.
Yeah. It's like Gary Allen saying he turned into big babies all over again.
That's a fact. Well, I'm a big baby because I'm gonna probably weep when you walk out of here, but that's all right. I'll grab some Kleenex and I'll be all right. Clint, you did good, man.
Thanks.
You did good, and you're gonna be great at that next thing. So, I guess for the final time here, I picked a good one for Let's Talk About It this week, and we've got a lot to talk about as we watch our kids get older. I'll be there for if you need anything.
Yep, I know that.
All right, that is the hardest episode of Let's Talk About It. But the people in the studio said, "You think you're going to get him all emotional?" I was like, "No, not yet." I said, "But I'll get there."
He did. You did.
All right, thanks, Clint.